Hi, my name is Pete Guthrie and I'm seeking the nomination for the United Conservative Party in Airdrie-Cochrane. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I had an article come out and it highlighted my time in Iraq when I was a kid. So I've been getting a ton of questions about it ever since, and I thought what I would do is a short video here to give a few more details. So when I was 11 years old, we moved to Iraq. My dad had been living there for about a year at the time, and he was working southwest of Basra at a refinery. Now, we were going there with the intention of being there for a couple of years. It ended up only being a few short months, but when we arrived, my brother and sister and I, we all were really enjoying ourselves. It was hot and sunny. We were meeting new friends. We had our way with a swimming pool, bowling alley, ping pong. We had lots of fun things to do. Now, after only a few months, we learned that things were not like they were back in Canada. One morning about 6:45 in the morning, we were waiting for the school teachers, a husband and wife duo that ran the school. And we started early because of the heat. So anyway, we were waiting for them to arrive when an Iranian jet flew over top. Behind it was followed by two Iraqi jets flying very low. We could feel the sonic boom. We just dropped to the ground, waited for the teachers to arrive. We got in, and of course it was the topic of discussion all day. As an 11-year-old, it's kind of hard to really fully grasp the gravity of the situation, but we later realized that Iranian jet was merely a scout for a future raid. Anyway, over the next few nights, a blackout was in effect, so there was no lights allowed to be on in the compound. One of the evenings, a friend of mine and I, we went out to a soccer field and we sat there in our chairs, sort of looking out off into the night sky, and way in the horizon we could see anti-aircraft guns going off. So we knew that something imminent was about to happen. And I think it was the following morning that the Iranians bombed our camp. Now, the intention, I'm sure, was to hit the refinery, but what they actually hit was our compound as well as a bus depot. And this depot was used for bringing workers back and forth to the refinery. That day, 27 people perished. And the morning, my dad had already headed off to work. Things were very chaotic. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know if he was alive or dead. It seemed like an eternity for him to get back home that morning, but it was probably only 20 or 30 minutes after the attack that he got there. He found out that we were safe, grabbed me, and we went around to some other friends to make sure that they were okay. We headed back to our home, picked up our family, my brother, my sister, and my mother, picked up a couple other families, and we headed out towards the Iraqi border. Once getting to the border, they would not let us continue with that vehicle. So we waited there for a few hours, and later the border control told us to just start heading down this road towards the Kuwaiti border. Between the two countries, there is a neutral zone. So we just started heading down in that direction. Fortunately, a truck driver picked us up. My dad had to ride in the back with the livestock, but us kids and my mom, we rode up front with the driver. Once we got close to the border, he had us get out and we just walked in the rest of the way. It was at this point everybody started to come together. This ended up being the meeting point. We learned there that 27 people perished in the bombings, and one of which being my friend Barry's father. So it was a very emotional time. We were all quite confused, but for us, we had left everything behind. We had nothing in hand. Our passports were back at home, and we really had no way of knowing how long we were going to be there. Fortunately, the Canadian consulate came through for us very quickly, getting us a visa, and we were part of the first wave of people to leave Iraq. That evening we were taken to Kuwait City, where they fed us. We hadn't eaten in quite a long time. We overnighted at the Canadian consulate, and the next day we flew to Amsterdam, stayed for a few days, and then headed to back to Canada and to safety. You know, as I mentioned, as an 11-year-old, it's kind of hard to grasp what had went on. But as an adult, I now get the appreciation of hindsight to really be able to understand the situation that we were in. As an adult, I've traveled for both business and personally extensively throughout Canada, the US, Central and South America, Europe, Asia, including India that I made 3 trips to and spent a total of 7 weeks. I can say that in that time, I never dressed like Trudeau did, nor was I ever asked to dress in that fashion. But that aside, all of these experiences have given me a different insight on life and multiculturalism and the freedom that we have in Canada. It's also provided me with an appreciation for unity and safety. And it is this perspective that I bring forward as your candidate. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions or you wish to meet, you can contact me at info@peterguthrie.ca, like me on Facebook at Peter Guthrie for MLA, or go to my website at www.peterguthrie.ca. Thank you.